Hello everyone, this is your host Vaibhav. I welcome all of you to today's session of Daily Stock, in which we are going to look at the financial earnings of a very important company, both from the point of view of financials as well as for the health of the public at large, because he is the one of the largest equipment maker for the medical devices across the world. It has presence in around 100 countries, and it employs a lot of people who make efforts and design and deliver devices for the care of the patients who are in hospitals availing various services by the doctors to get better and improve their health. And to that extent, the Medtronic plays many a times role of lifesavers, and that is why I say this is one of the important company and in every sense. But if you consider its stock price performance in recent past, you will see after having rallied in past few months it has stagnated, and then if we enlarge the time frame and see it over the years, it is actually in a bear grip and seems to be stagnating after having seen its peak couple of years back during the COVID times when the demand for medical devices was tremendous. But after that, after the economy has gotten better, the pandemic has receded. The earlier highs are nowhere in sight, and the Medtronic is trading on the lower side. And I think the picture is not really likely to change much anytime soon, and it is likely to trade with bearish undertone for next few months, if not much. And for that, we have to see its earnings. The revenues have been more or less on the similar footing. Its revenues aren't really rising much, it's not even declining. The growth is there. It's just the case that the growth is not strong enough, and for any company, the earnings growth, the revenue growth is strong requirement for its stock to rally, or if there is any impending reason for the market participants to believe that the revenues are going to shoot up. Maybe in that case also we see the stock rallying higher and higher. But for Medtronic, the assessment is that the revenues are going to be on a similar level for foreseeable future, and that is why we are not really seeing any increased interest from the investors to buy, to get involved in its stock and push the prices higher. And the current levels are fairly valuing the company, and as a result of that, it is seemingly stagnant with few dips and highs in the process. Let's look at its consolidated statement of income to get a better idea of the company's earnings. This is the 3 months ended January 26, 2024 consolidated revenue statement. In it, you can see that the net sales have risen in single digits for the last quarter in comparison to the same quarter a year back, and that is a good development. There is nothing wrong about it. And if we look at different segments in which the company operates, the cardiovascular, neuroscience, medical, surgical, and diabetes, all these segments have seen growth. You can see that there is growth in each of these vertical. And if we consider other income, then there is decline, but all these four key verticals are delivering growth for the company. And Its net income is also slightly on the higher side in comparison to its earlier net income. And if you divide the revenues by geographies, then the key markets where it operates, the US, non-US developed world like the countries of Europe, Japan, Australia, etc., which are developed countries. In it also there is growth in the revenue, and emerging markets, which contribute the least to the revenues of the company, have also shown growth. So all these geographically divided markets are also registering growth for the company. So far, so good. All its segments are growing, all its key geographical markets are delivering growth. But then, why I say that its stock price, is in bear wave? Because there are reasons to believe so. And I have already listed one key reason that the growth is not really strong enough, and that is one key concern for the market participant who thrive on pushing the stock valuations higher of the companies who are delivering blockbuster growth in the revenues and in net profit, or at least in probability of future profit. Now, coming to the cost, the operating profit has also risen around in same percentages. There is not much of an divergence in revenue growth and in operating profit growth, with net income also on the rise. There is a similar undertone to this growth in the net income as well, with the net income attributable to the Medtronic standing at $1.32 billion, which is 100 million higher if compared to the same quarter of a year back. The 9-month income is also showing a rise of more than 10 percentage point. Coming to the balance sheet, you can see that company has a lot of debt on its book. The long-term debt obligations are quite large. And if we look at the asset side, the goodwill, the other intangible assets also contribute a large chunk of this asset side for the Medtronic. Coming to its cash flow, the uses of cash it is generating, the operating activities provided $4.01 billion for the company for the 9 months ended January 26th, which is more than 10 percentage point higher if we compare it to the 9 months ending January 27, 2023, of which the company decided to use in investing activities 1.67 billion, and for the financing activity the cash of $2.09 billion was used, which is quite higher if compared to the last year's use of only $17 million. And this is for this use of a higher cash in financing activities is primarily driven by the dividends which has been distributed to the shareholders, and that has contributed a large chunk to the decline in its cash, which is being added to its cash and cash equivalent at the end of the period. And if we compare it to the prior year's cash flow for the financing activity, in that period there was a lot of cash inflow from the issuance of long-term debt and proceeds from short-term borrowings. So those borrowings were adding to the company's cash position, But this time around, in these 9 months, the company has avoided any additional borrowing and instead it has paid to its shareholders on a similar line. So that is why there has been a lot of increase in its financing activities, the cash used in financing activity. Let us now go to the stock price performance to see how things are faring. This is the longer term charting with each candle period defined at weekly, and in it you can see that for last couple of years since its peak close to 106 it has been making lower lows and lower highs, and this time around it had made a fresh low close to 70 mark, and from there on it has recovered around 20 percentage point. But I still feel that in the larger scheme of things the price range of around 90 is acting as a strong resistance for the company stock. So unless there is a big move beyond 90 towards 100, and if the company's stock price holds around that level for at least a couple of months, then maybe we can say comfortably that the larger picture has changed and maybe the company's projections will turn from bearish to bullish. But till that happens, I feel that simply looking at this price formation of lower lows and lower highs, we will have to keep trading and investing with the flow, and that is bearish in the larger picture. In the long term, for medium term, the things are not really that bad, but after having seen its peak of 89 per share, usually 89 per share, it seems to be again on decline. But from medium term, we can't really say it is bearish. It is in consolidation phase with near term bias now slowly tilting towards the bearish side. But for next couple of weeks, we will have to keep an eye on the price formation of the Metronic, and if it continues to form lower lows and lower highs over next few weeks, then I think we can go for a short sell trade. But if it reverses course and finds supports close to 80 and doesn't really decline much and starts to show the possible signs of moving higher, then we can change our assessment, and from the medium term perspective we can start looking for the buying opportunity to go long in its stock and in its derivative future. So watch out for its price performance over next few weeks and you will get much more clarity of its price projections. In the short run, relying on its hourly charting, here you can see sharp moves being observed in the pricing of its stock post the release of its earnings report. There was this low made at 82 and then sharp move towards 87, but that high has proven to be short-lived, and then afterwards over next few days we saw it again turning bearish and trying to move on the lower side, in the process making lower lows and lower highs. So if this time around the immediate swing high of 86 holds and we don't really see much buying in next couple of stations, then I feel we can indeed go for a fresh short selling with the expectation of a deep decline, and a decline below 82 can't be ruled out. So that is my near-term assessment of the Medtronic stock, which is increasingly looking bearish. Of course, we need some additional conditions to be fulfilled before we can go for a short sell trade. But as things stand, it is clearly tilted on the bearish side, and maybe after consolidation for a day or two, we are likely to get a good trading opportunity with a decent risk reward ratio in the process. So watch out for the price moves, and if you find a good trade with good risk reward ratio, you can indeed take the shot and try to capitalize on this bearish momentum. But of course, any trading decision comes with its risk. The possibility of it going wrong is always there. So keep stop loss, which is going to provide you with the risk which is bearable. You should not be risking too much, because any market position is also likely to go wrong. So in that eventuality, you don't really want to lose too much. So pay attention to the possible losses as well. That's all from my side for today's session of Daily Stock, in which we considered the financial earnings for the last quarter of Medtronic, the medical device maker, and its share price performance over the last many days, many weeks, many months, and we have made a informed opinion of the possible price moves over next few weeks at the minimum. So that's all from my side for today's session. If any of you have any query or any idea to share, do write to me in the feedback, and I will be more than happy to take the discussion forward. Thank you all for joining in. If you have found the session informative, do like and subscribe to the channel. You will have equally informative sessions by other hosts as well. I also stream daily with different stocks being covered each day. So do come back next time around tomorrow, and we will have a equally interesting company to look at. Thank you all for joining in. See you next time. Goodbye.